George Washington's 1789 Thanksgiving Proclamation by George Washington. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. George Washington's 1789 Thanksgiving Proclamation. Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor, and whereas both houses of Congress have, by their joint committee, requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many and signal favors of Almighty God, especially by affording them an opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th day of November next, to be devoted by the people of these states to the service of that great and glorious Being who is the beneficent author of all the good that was, that is, or that will be, that we may then all unite in rendering unto Him our sincere and humble thanks for His kind care and protection of the people of this country previous to their becoming a nation, for the signal and manifold mercies and the favorable interpositions of His providence in the course and conclusion of the late war, for the great degree of tranquillity, union, and plenty which we have since enjoyed, for the peaceable and rational manner in which we have been enabled to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, and particularly the national one now lately instituted for the civil and religious liberty with which we are blessed, and the means we have of acquiring and diffusing useful knowledge, and in general for all the great and various favors which He has been pleased to confer upon us, and also that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and Ruler of nations, and beseech Him to pardon our national and other transgressions, to enable us all, whether in public or private stations, to perform our several and relative duties properly and punctually, to render our national government a blessing to all the people by constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed, to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, especially such as have shown kindness to us, and to bless them with good governments, peace, and concord, to promote the knowledge and practice of true religion and virtue, and the increase of science among them and us, and generally to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as He alone knows to be best. Given under my hand at the city of New York, the 3rd day of October, A.D. 1789. Signed, G. Washington. End of George Washington's 1789 Thanksgiving Proclamation. Read by Bill Mosley, Frellsburg, Texas.
From Hollywood, the Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show. For your enjoyment, here is the Phil Harris-Alice Faye Show, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliott Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Scharf and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Alice has decided to take the children to Palm Springs for a few days. Phil is unable to go, so her brother William is driving them down. As we look in, Alice is saying goodbye to Phil.
I hate to leave you home all alone, Phil. Just think, I'm going to be gone for 3 whole days.
Yeah, goodbye. Bye.
Stop pushing. Phil, you don't sound like you're going to miss me.
Oh, honey. How can you say that? With you away, this house will be an empty shell. Every place I look, I'll see you. The memory of your face and the echo of your voice will linger in every nook and cranny. And I promise...
for heaven's sake, Philip, stop being so corny. You're such a square. Shake hands with Alice and tell her goodbye.
What do you mean, shake hands? I'm going to kiss her goodbye.
Oh, I wish you wouldn't. Every time you do that to my poor sister, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Nothing about this, Willie. Phil, are you sure you're going to miss me?
Oh, what a silly question. Of course I am. While you're gone, I won't know how to spend the weekend. I'll be lost.
Oh, Willie, did you hear what Phil said?
Yes, he said he's planning on spending a lost weekend.
Willie, you're being a nasty little man. One more crack like that and I shall retaliate.
You won't dare strike me.
I'll do worse than that. The next time you have an angel food cake in the oven, I'll stomp on the kitchen floor. Look, don't worry about me, Alice. I'm going to be working over the weekend anyway. In fact, I'm having the band over tonight to rehearse some classical numbers.
Classical numbers?
Yeah, you know, stuff like Beethoven's Fifth and Schubert's Moonshine Sonata.
Oh, well, as long as the boys are just coming over here to work and not to play poker all night, okay.
Oh, you know we wouldn't do that. We would... Uh-oh. Come in. Alice, I assure you that the boys are just coming over to work.
Mr. Harris, I got the stuff you ordered for tonight.
What stuff?
Carton of ice cubes, 4 fresh stacks, 2 cases...
Wrong house! Get out! Get away! Come back later.
So you and the boys are going to work tonight, huh?
Yes.
And what are the cards for?
Oh, the cards. Oh, yeah, the cards. Well, they're card stunts like they have at a football game. You see, the musicians will hold the cards up in front of them, and it will form a full head of Petrillo. With teeth.
Oh, I see.
I wish my old lady was that gullible.
Now, Phil, the card stunts might make sense, but do me a favor. Explain the ice cubes.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm anxious to hear this one myself.
We use the ice cubes for sound effects.
Oh, I see.
I don't. Explain it, Bud. Explain it.
All right. We just happened to be going to rehearse first the waters of the Minnetonka. And in order to get the proper effect, we have Remley breathe on the cubes, and when they melt, we get a dripping sound.
Phil, I have to hand it to you. That's not bad.
It ain't good.
Just one more thing, darling. What's in those 2 cases?
The case. The one on the left is the case of clarinet reeds for the woodwind section.
Since when do reeds come in bottles?
Oh, honey, don't be silly. It's the newest thing. It keeps them airtight and fresh. Isn't that right, mister?
Oh, yeah. You see what it says on the bottle, lady? Lager Reeds. The reeds that made Milwaukee famous.
Mister, I appreciate it.
Yeah, don't mention it. Yeah, I got a nosy wife myself.
Phil, that's a case of beer, and I doubt if you can explain that.
I bet I can.
I'll bet you can't.
I'll take part of that bet, lady. This guy is pretty good.
I guarantee I can explain the beer. And I say now, the beer. Well, that's for the woodwind section. They dip their reeds in to soften them up.
And now tell me, what's in the other case?
That's something to soften up the brass section. Now, are there any other questions?
Yeah. What do you want me to do with the 6 dames I got in the truck?
Take them out. Now, that I didn't order.
I know, but just for fun, let's see how you get out of that one. Excuse like that for my old lady.
Will you get out of here? Look, honey, please, why don't you and Willie go upstairs and start the packing, will you? Go ahead, I'll answer that door. Hey, hiya, Frankie.
Hey, Curly, I'm raffling off a turkey for Thanksgiving. Can I put you down for 10 tickets at $1 apiece?
Well, I don't know. That's a little high for a turkey raffle.
Well, seeing you're my best friend, I'll tell you what. I'll sell them to you at half price, 50 cents apiece.
Okay.
Here's the tickets.
Here's the money.
Thanks. Too bad you didn't win.
What do you mean I didn't win? Wait till I hold a raffle, will you? Now, when is the winner going to be picked?
Last night.
Serves me right. I should have known better than to get roped on something that you're selling. Who's the guy that ran this raffle?
By some strange coincidence, it was me.
Uh-huh. And who picked the winning number?
By an even stranger coincidence, I did.
And who won the turkey?
Any more stupid questions?
Look, Frank, I don't understand you, Remley. How can you do a thing like that?
I didn't do it for me. I did it for you and Alice. You've been inviting me over for Thanksgiving dinner every year, so this year I'm going to supply the turkey.
That's very nice of you, Frankie, but Alice already bought a turkey for Thanksgiving, and we've already got it. It's in the freezer.
All right, we'll save that one for Christmas. Let me surprise Alice with my turkey. I got it out in the car. I'll go get it.
All right, go get it. Do you need me to help you?
No, you stay here and sing.
Frankie. Ooh, you're asking me to sing.
Well, why not? I'll be outside and won't hear it anyway. Go ahead.
Let's choo-choo-choo-choo-choo-choo to Idaho. Come on, let's go. Let's choo-choo-choo to Idaho. Oh, Mr. Engineer, let's hear that whistle blow to let 'em know we're on our way to Idaho. Hey there, fella, soon we'll be in Pocatello and then Sun Valley. According to my Rand McNally, tell the folks back home in Chi, tell them toodaloo goodbye. Let's choo-choo-choo-choo-choo-choo-choo to Idaho. What a trip, it's terrific on that Union Pacific. What a change from those covered wagon days. If those old 49ers had these up-to-date streamliners, they'd commute clear from Butte to Iowa. So hey there, fella, here we go through Pocatello and there's Sun Valley. According to my Rand McNally, tell the folks back home in Chi, tell them toodaloo goodbye. Let's choo-choo-choo-choo-choo-choo to Idaho. Well, pardon me, folks, but if you ain't observed, I'd like to announce that our dinner's served, and glancing at the menu, I am proud to say the chef is really cooking up a mess today. The full-course dinner is a work of art, and I most highly recommends our a la carte. The dining car is open and it's straight ahead. The first one there is the first one fed. Now, it's the custom here, though it ain't the rule, that if you wait, then you wait in the vestibule. And folks on the counter that we aim to please, we're the latest and the greatest in facilities. I just got word from the engineer. The green light is shining and the track is clear. We breaking every record and I ain't surprised, 'cause she's a mighty locomotive and she's dieselized. From east to west, from coast to coast, the Union Pacific is the foremost. So hey there, porter, when we pass Nebraska's border, get my suits out, lay my shirts and western boots out. If I'm going west today, might as well go all the way. Yippee-i-o, let's choo-choo-choo to Idaho. Come on, let's go, let's choo-choo-choo to Idaho. Come on, let's go, let's choo-choo-choo to Idaho.
Curly, is it all clear in there? You through singing?
Yeah, just finished. You can come on in.
Well, here she is. How do you like her?
How do you do, miss? I'm always glad to meet a girlfriend of Frankie. Now then, where's the turkey?
Don't be a wise guy. This is the turkey.
Oh. With your girlfriends, it's kind of hard to tell. The last one you had looked like a unicorn.
She did not look like a unicorn. Just seemed that way because her head came to a point.
All right, Remley, look, will you listen to that? We can't keep a live turkey in the house. Get old Tom out of here.
Curly, please, don't call her old Tom. Charmaine happens to be a lady.
Charmaine? Ooh la la, French turkey yet, huh?
She's very sensitive. You better apologize to her.
Oh, by all means, I shall. I beg your pardon, madame.
Mademoiselle. She's not married yet.
Well, propose to her and get her out of my house. Look, if Alice sees a live turkey in her living room, she'll yell blue murder. You can't keep a thing.
She doesn't have to see her. We'll hide Charmaine in the closet until after Alice leaves. We'll surprise her when she gets back from Palm Springs.
All right, anything. Come on, Frenchie. Now, get in there. Look, Frankie. Oh, listen to that. We'd better tie her up and gag her so she won't make any noise. Now, come on and get in there and help me and close that closet door so nobody overhears us. You and a live turkey.
Well, Willie, I guess I'm all packed. Will you ask Phil to help carry the suitcases to the car?
Very well, Alice. I'll get him. If I were Alice, I wouldn't trust Philip home alone. He needs a keeper. He's nothing but a middle-aged juvenile delinquent. Philip, Alice wants you to come out to... Well, that's funny. I could have sworn he was here in the living room.
I never
Somebody's in that closet. I wonder who it is. I'll just sneak up and listen.
Hey, Curly, will she be all right in here? She won't smother, will she?
Nah. She'll be all right. Now, look, Charmaine, don't make a fuss, and we'll let you out as soon as my wife leaves.
Charmaine? He's got a woman in there.
Charmaine, will you please stop squirming like that and leave... Ouch! Remley, she bit me.
She's a wild one, too. I'm going to put a stop to this right now. I'm going upstairs and tell Alice he has a woman in the house.
Hey, Curly, I think I heard somebody out there. It sounded like Willie.
Old blabbermouth. Certainly he'll run right up and tell Alice and spoil our surprise. Look, we better hide that turkey in the den. Now, come on, Charmaine. Get out. Come on.
Oh, Alice, have I got something to tell you? Wait till you hear this.
Well, calm yourself and tell me. What is it?
Alice, I'm not one to start trouble between you and your husband. But it gives me a great deal of pleasure to inform you that Philip is unfaithful.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Philip has a French hussy named Charmaine hidden in the living room closet.
Oh, Willie, stop being ridiculous.
If you don't believe me, look in the closet yourself.
I have no intention of looking in the closet.
But, sis, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for 9 years. This is our chance to divorce the old cotton ball.
Now, Willie, I want you to stop trying to come between Phil and me with your wild stories. I'm going downstairs and say goodbye to Phil.
Do me a favor, Alice, and look in that closet.
I will not. I trust Phil implicitly. Some wives would be suspicious, but I'm not that kind. I'd no more think of snooping around.
Oh, there you are, Alice. Hi, you all ready to go?
Yes, dear. I just came in to say goodbye.
Well, so long, honey.
Have a nice time, dear.
Remley, let go of her. Take care of yourself, dear. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye now.
Now, how did I ever happen to walk into this closet?
It's a natural mistake. You've only been living here 9 years. How should you know where the front door is?
Well, so long, fellas.
Yeah, so long. Bye. Alice, the door ain't behind the curtains either.
Oh, I'm a little confused. Well, so long.
Curly, what's she doing under the couch?
Kissing her mother goodbye. Short chain. Hey, Alice, what are you looking under that couch for?
Oh, is this the couch? I guess I'm getting nearsighted. Well, bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah, goodbye.
Hey, she finally found the door.
Yeah, this kid knows what she's doing every minute. Oh, what now? What can it... All right, come in.
Mr. Harris, my name is Homer Feinschreiber, and I just flew all the way out here from Altoona,
Feinschreiber?
Pennsylvania. I run a pool room back there. I'm a nice guy. I mind my own business. I'm a member of the Chamber of Commerce, but the last few days, my wife has been driving me crazy. She's hysterical.
Well, I can't...
She just lays there in bed and screams at me. She won't get up and cook my meals. She won't iron my shirts.
I've got my
The other morning, she leaned down and kicked my youngest son, Wilbur.
Well,
That's going too far.
I don't know.
But it's all on account of you.
Well, I can't...
Oh, you don't know me. I have no right to come breaking into your beautiful home like this, but you've got to tell me something so I can go back and tell my wife, Mr. Harris, what is the thing?
Look, buddy, I'm a busy man. I don't know what I do. Look, go back and tell your wife that the thing is...
Mr. Harris, I'm sorry. I didn't realize your wife was rehearsing her song.
Hey! Look, Brimley, I got live turkeys, people breaking in from Altoona. What are you trying to do to me? I can't stand all this trouble. Why don't you take that turkey of yours and give it to somebody else? After all, I told you, we got a turkey in the freezer.
Yeah, but I'll bet the turkey Alice bought ain't as good as mine.
It looks pretty good to me.
What do you know about turkeys? I'll look in the freezer, and if that bird isn't as good as mine, we'll keep Charmaine and get rid of yours.
All right, go ahead and look at it. All this darn fuss over a turkey.
Just as I thought I knew I'd catch you with a whoa. Oh, you're all alone.
That'd have been a lot bigger laugh if you'd have waited for the door to open. But as long as you're here, what now?
Well, before I go, dear, there's something I want to say.
Well, say it, will you? What are you waiting for?
For the band to pick up their instruments.
Oh.
Bye-bye, baby. Remember you're my baby when they give you the eye. And just to show that I care, I will write and declare that I'm on the loose, but I'll stay on the square. I'll be lonely, but even though I'm lonely, there'll be no other guy. Though I'll be gone for a while, I know that I'll be smiling with my baby by and by.
Bye-bye, baby. Remember you're my baby when they give you the eye.
Although I know that you care, won't you write and declare that though on the loose, you are still on the square?
I'll be lonely, but send that rainbow to me, then my shadows will fly. Though you'll be gone for a while, I know that I'll be smiling with my baby by and by.
Alice, that was wonderful. You have a remarkable voice.
She certainly has. It's amazing how much she sounds like a quartet at times.
Well, I guess I'm ready to go now.
Yeah, well, go already.
Well, bye.
Goodbye. Bye.
They certainly were anxious to get rid of me. I wonder if he does have a woman. No. I know he hasn't, but just to make sure, I'll sneak back and listen. I'll make believe I'm going out the front door. Now, to tiptoe back and see just what's going on.
I thought that wife of yours would never leave, Curly. Yeah. You think she suspects anything?
No. How could she possibly know anything about Charmaine?
He does have a woman in the house.
Well, Frankie, look, after comparing the two, what do you think? Should I keep Charmaine?
Naturally. There's no comparison between Charmaine and that old hen you got.
Old hen? I'm only 29 and a half.
Besides, Charmaine is nice and plump.
The old hen I got's pretty fat, too.
I put on a half a pound and right away I'm a tub.
Look, Frankie, maybe I ought to keep the one I got.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. Charmaine is young. That one you got has seen better days.
True.
Besides, I pinched them both, and Charmaine has a lot more meat on her.
I don't know about Charmaine, but he's never laid a hand on me.
All right, Remley, look, I'll keep Charmaine. I got to admit, she looks a lot more tender.
If Charmaine had 2 children, she wouldn't be so tender either.
Hey, wait a minute, Frankie. If I do keep Charmaine, what am I going to do with my old turkey?
Give her away to some charity. Give her to the Musicians Union.
Musicians Union? Do you think they'd take her?
They'll take anything.
That does it, calling me a turkey. If he wants to get rid of me, he can. I'll go upstairs and pack the rest of my things and leave him for good. I'll show him he can't talk to me.
Miss Faye, I brought it. Why, Miss Faye is just crying. What's wrong?
Oh, Julius, it's Mr. Harris. He's brought another woman named Charmaine into the house.
Another woman? Ah, Miss Faye, let's keep our heads. Do you honestly think your husband is the kind of a heel who would bring another woman into your own home? Do you honestly think that?
Well, no, I don't.
I do. Have you seen the Charmaine dame?
No, I haven't, and I don't want to. I heard Frankie and Mr. Harris talking about her, and I'm leaving
Now,
him.
wait a minute, Miss Faye. Don't be hasty. This might all be a misunderstanding. Before you decide to leave Mr. Harris, you should take a lot of time to think this over.
Well, maybe
Time's up! Go upstairs and start packing. On your way before you change your mind.
I'm going upstairs and start packing right now. I heard him planning to get rid of me.
Ooh, that beast. I wonder how he's planning on getting rid of Miss Faye. Is he going to divorce her or just throw her out in the street?
I don't know why I ever got a thing in the
Uh-oh,
first place.
here he comes. I'll just duck behind here and maybe I can overhear his plans.
Well, Curly, as long as you decided to keep Charmaine and get rid of the other hen, let's make plans.
Yeah. I don't want to run around the house alive.
When is Alice coming back from Palm Springs?
Wednesday night?
Good. I'll bring the axe over Wednesday morning.
Axe? Them cold-blooded murderers is going to kill her.
Frankie, I can't use an axe on her. That's too cruel.
Well, I'm glad to see he has some decency.
Let's tie her to a stake and fill her full of buckshot.
Oh, I hope they at least blindfold her.
Curly, I don't like the buckshot idea.
Why not?
Some of the pellets might get in our teeth when we eat her.
Peter! This is more than I can stand. Stop where you are, you cannibals!
Julius, what are you doing in here?
I overheard you planning to kill Miss Faye.
What are you talking about, killing Miss Faye? We're going to kill Charmaine.
Oh, you tire of him fast, don't you. What are you killing her for?
So we can have her for Thanksgiving dinner?
Can't afford a turkey, huh?
Oh, be quiet, will you, kid? Hey, Curly, I got an idea. When we bring Charmaine in for dinner Thursday, I think Alice would like it if we dressed her first.
Look, Remley, that's going to be too much trouble. Now, let's bring her in undressed.
The least you can do is put a kimono on her.
A kimono on Charmaine?
All right, then. Make it a French bathing suit.
Oh, kid, why don't you leave her?
That wouldn't look nice. Her pin feathers would stick out.
This dame has pin feathers?
Oh, Julius, will you stop already? What, dame? Charmaine is a turkey.
A likely story.
We can prove it. She's right here in the den. I'll show you.
I'll be darned, it is a turkey. This upsets all my plans.
What are you talking about, plans? Plans? What do you mean, plans?
Miss Faye overheard you talking and thought you had a dame here. She's upstairs, packing to leave you.
Leave me? Oh, no. Come on, Frankie. We got to explain this to Alice. You and that turkey.
Nuts. This'll ruin everything. Miss Faye expects to find a French dame. Now, when she opens the door, she'll only find a turkey. Or will she? A quick phone call might keep this ugly mess an ugly mess.
Alice, will you please believe me? For the 10th time, I tell you Charmaine is a turkey.
How do I know you're telling me the truth?
I'll open the door to the den and you'll see that it's a turkey. Now, there you are, Alice. This is our turkey. Gobble for my wife, Charmaine.
Gaboo, gaboo, gaboo.
Help! Frame up! I demand a recount. Oh, no.
Wow. Look what our little turkey has grown up into. Yum, yum, yum.
So this is your idea of a turkey, huh?
But, honey, when I put her in there, she was a turkey. She must have come out of her cocoon or something. I never saw this dame before.
Oh, Sherry, how can you say that about your little Charmaine? You like me, do you not? Hmm?
Look, lady, I got no time for that right now. How'd you get in here? Who put you in this room? Oh, Julius, grab him, Frankie, and we'll have him for Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay, you tear his drumsticks off, and I'll
stuff him. Folks, starting today, our program has wonderful news. Listen to this, the Hedda Hopper Show. Hedda's guests tonight are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman, Mario Lanza, Andy Devine, and Arlene Dahl. It's the Hedda Hopper column come to life. Stay tuned for it, and best wishes, Hedda, from Alice and me.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
This program was produced and directed by Paul Phillips.
Yes, listen now for the Hedda Hopper Show on NBC.
The Mutual Broadcasting System, in cooperation with Family Theater Incorporated, presents Home for Thanksgiving, starring Paul Henreid and Joan Leslie. Charles Boyer is your host.
More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of. Across the country tonight, in millions of hearts and homes, there is a spirit of happiness and thanksgiving. It is more than thanks for turkey dinners, more than our happiness in the reunion of family and friends. It is a renewal of our faith and trust in God. For Thanksgiving Day is meaningless without our prayers of thanks to Him whose goodness comes to us each day. We are thankful for the gifts we have in material things in a world where there is hunger and privation. We are thankful for our freedom to life, liberty, and happiness in a world where there is hatred and oppression. Thankful for our spiritual treasures of faith in God and the brotherhood of men. Thankful for our homes where, in peace, we can gather together as a family to pray. This is the spirit of thanksgiving, and prayers go up from millions of homes where families gather together tonight to offer this simple prayer: Thanks be to God.
Charles Boyer will return later in the program. Now, tonight's Family Theater stars Joan Leslie and Paul Henreid in True Boardman's Home for Thanksgiving. The time, this day. The place, a town in Austria, not far from the German border. The people, Stephen Brannick and Mary, his wife. Here, then, is Home for Thanksgiving.
Mary,
Yes, Stephen?
you were not asleep?
No, I was waiting for you.
I finished.
Oh, read it to me.
Oh, I don't know. It says it all badly, but perhaps somehow behind the words is what I feel for this day. I hope so.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Read it, dear.
Very well. 27th November, 1947. Dear and beloved child-to-be, tonight your father records in this journal the doings of a single day, a day of which you must have full knowledge in the years of your own understanding. Your father writes it in deep affection and with great humility of spirit. He writes it with a prayer, the prayer that in your life there may come to be at least one such day as this has been for me. Here then, dear child, here for you with your mother's love and my own is the journal of this day, the day of your parents' homecoming to the land of your fathers.
Oh, Stephen. And you were afraid that what you felt was not in your words. It's beautiful. Go on.
Sunrise of this day, my child, found your mother and me already on our way from our last overnight stop in Germany. As the sun made gold the sky of dawn, we rode eagerly along the main highway from Passau to Linz. Of our vehicle, we were very proud. It was a truck, a 2.5-ton truck, and I, at its wheel, felt like a conquering hero returning from the wars.
Stephen?
Yes?
Take it easy, darling. You said yourself it was only 100 kilometers, and we have all day.
Was I going too fast? I'm sorry.
I don't mind, but you look so intent. Watching you drive, I could only think of Ben-Hur and the chariot.
I am flattered, but Brunhilde is not. She's far superior to any chariot.
You know, sometimes I think that if you ever really had to choose between this truck and me, I'd be the one to lose out.
It would be a difficult decision. To me, you are both beautiful. And Brunhilde does not have the habit of looking at me out of the corner of her headlights and laughing at me.
Maybe she doesn't love you enough to laugh at you.
She loves me to the bottom of her carburetor.
And besides, I wasn't laughing. Not really. I was just happy for you. You're like a 10-year-old. You're so excited.
And why not? When any moment now we shall arrive at the border, after nearly 10 years. Would you expect me to be calm?
On the contrary. The moment we cross into Austria, I fully expect you to stop Brunhilde, get out, and kiss the ground. That's what a lot of our GIs did when they got home.
Well, I shall vary the procedure. Instead, I shall stop Brunhilde and kiss my American wife.
Oh, darling, I am so happy for you. For both of us. But mostly for you. We should make a kind of family holiday of this date. The day the Brannick family came home.
It's a good idea. Let's see, what's today? Thursday, November the 27th.
Stephen, I didn't realize. Thursday, the last Thursday in November? It's Thanksgiving.
Yes, of course. This is a holiday in America.
Yes, a wonderful one.
Tell me, what would you do this day if you were home?
Well, the family would go to church, all of us together. Then Jim, my brother, and I would go with Dad to a football game. Then there'd be the family Thanksgiving dinner.
A real feast, eh?
Oh, I'll say. Turkey with a wonderful chestnut dressing Mom makes. Cranberry sauce, mashed potatoes and giblet gravy, 2 or 3 vegetables, salad, and mince pie or plum pudding with brandy sauce. Then, after dinner, when the dishes were all done, we'd all gather in the living room before a fire, and I'd play while the whole family sang songs. My dad always felt that too many people forgot the real meaning of Thanksgiving, and he didn't want us to. So we'd always sing. A hymn or two at first, and then old songs that we all knew and loved. We were good, too. Mom's contralto, my sister Coral's soprano, and Dad's deep, deep bass. And Jim trying to hold melody with a shaky baritone. I can hear them now.
I'm sure you can.
Oh, Stephen, stop the truck. Please, please now.
Well?
Darling, listen. Oh, I know how that must have sounded, but all of that belongs to Mary Connors, a girl who doesn't exist anymore. I'm Mrs. Mary Brannick, and there's no place in the world I'd rather be at this moment than here with my husband, the man I love, the man whose child I'm going to be proud to bear. That's true, Stephen. I give you my word it is.
Yes, darling. I believe it is. Mary Brannick, I love you very much.
Oh, darling, hold me.
Now, we go on. See, the place you choose to stop, just ahead.
The border.
There will be a delay here while our papers are checked and our goods examined. You had best wait in the customs house.
All right.
Perhaps there'll be coffee. Look. Oh, but of course. You should have expected it. There is an American MP in addition to the Austrian border guard.
Halt!
Stefan, don't say anything. Let's see if he can tell.
Halt, Grenzinspektion.
Guten Morgen, Herr Inspektor. Mein Name ist Stefan Brannick. Meine Frau und ich fahren nach Nürhofen. Alle Papiere sind in Ordnung.
Ich werde die Papiere durchsehen. Aber der amerikanische Feldwebel muss sie auch examinieren.
Aha. Oh, hello. Good day, Sergeant. My name is Brannick.
Oh, good morning. Glad you speak English. My name's Jensen. The truck you're on?
Yes, war surplus, purchased from UNRWA. I have the bill of sales right here.
Okay, we'll check it. Say, this may take a little while. Maybe your wife would like to wait inside where it's warm.
Maybe she would.
Oh, she speak English, too?
Well, a little, you know.
Gnädig Frau, inside, warm rest?
Thanks, Sergeant. It sounds like a great idea. See, Stephen, I'm a success.
Oh, you're an American.
Check.
Where from?
San Francisco.
San Francisco? Hey, the captain's from Seattle and his wife's from Portland, Oregon.
Oh, we're practically neighbors.
Look, miss, ma'am, you stay right inside and I'll call the captain. He'll want you to stop in and see his wife. They're billeted just a little ways from here. Mrs. Davis is crazy for news from home.
Well, Sergeant, I'm sure Mrs. Brannick would be delighted to meet your captain's wife. Make your call by all means, Mary.
And here are 2 New York Times, 3 Portland Oregonians, and last month's Reader's Digest. Oh, and the September Superman comic. That was my husband.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Davis. You're a gold mine. And I'm sorry I'm a disappointment. I wish for your sake I'd stepped off a plane from New York 3 days ago instead of 3 years. I'd be a much better news source.
Oh, that doesn't matter. You're from home. That's the thing. You say you came over with UNRWA?
Yes, in 44. My father and brothers were all in service, and I was just out of college, and...
And you were tired of studying about the world? You wanted to do something about it?
I guess that's it. I was in England till after VE Day. Then I was transferred to Paris. That's where I met Stefan. He worked for UNRWA, too, after his release from Germany.
He was a prisoner?
For 4 years. He left Austria in 38 when Hitler came in. Then, when the war started, he joined the French army. He was captured at the Sedan breakthrough.
More coffee?
Thanks, it's good.
So you're going to live in Nürhofen?
Yes. Stefan's family has lived there for 200 years.
Oh? Then they're there, expecting you?
No, there's just the house. Stefan's entire family... Well, I'm his family now.
Oh, I see. He hasn't been back before, since the war?
No.
Nürhofen. Phil and I drove through there this summer. I don't mean to discourage you, but I hope you realize that...
It's badly damaged? I do. We both do. Stefan says it's the penalty his birthplace paid for being a crossroads of transportation. It was an important target from the air. But for that same reason, it will rebuild quickly and be important in the new Austria.
Oh, of course it will. Mrs. Brannick, there's just one other thing. This is none of my business, but, well, it's about your baby.
Oh, my baby will be born in Muirhofen. Both Stephen and I want that.
Yes, I know, and I can understand how you feel, but, well, honey, to be frank, some Europeans are often more concerned with tradition than with common sense. There's no hospital now in Muirhofen. There is, of course, at Linz. And so when the time comes...
Mrs. Davis, it just happens that my grandmother was born in a stagecoach between Tombstone and Phoenix. So I think that Muirhofen will do for Stephen's child. Thanks, though, for the advice.
I like you, Mary Brannick. I think you're an incurable romantic, but I like you. And what's more, I envy you.
Thanks a lot, Captain.
Oh, here are the men folk. Well, that's how it goes. When I want Phil to hurry with an inspection, it takes forever. And then when I wish he'd be a little longer, you...
Come in, Brannick. Thank you. If I know my wife, she's now qualified to write a detailed biography of your entire family.
No, you would have to hurry, so I've missed 3 chapters.
Are we all ready, Stephen?
Yes, all ready. Brunhilde is waiting impatiently.
Oh, you sure you won't stay a while, Brannick?
Oh, yes. Look, it's Thanksgiving, and we have a turkey, frozen. It came in this month's rations. Stay and share it with us and go on tomorrow.
Thank you, Mrs. Davis, but we are expected.
Expected? By an empty house in a ruined town?
Clara.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry. It's just that I'd really like to have you stay. Very much.
Clara's a little homesick, I'm afraid. Maybe it's just a day.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davis. Come to see us when you can. It's only... How far from here, Stephen?
Oh, about 60, 65 kilometers, a 2-hour drive. You'll be most welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you both. And good luck.
Thank you. Goodbye, and goodbye, Captain.
Goodbye, Brannick.
Goodbye, Mrs. Davis. Goodbye, Captain. Happy Thanksgiving.
And such, dear child to be, was the entrance of your mother and myself into Austria, with words of welcome and words of warning. And we rode on through towns and valleys that grew more familiar to me with each kilometer. And then at last, at long, long last, a turn off the narrow highway and a sign, a shell-ridden sign still faintly legible that read, Nuurhofen. Slowly we drove through the town, wordless. On every side, buildings I had known since childhood were shattered and in ruins. And then we neared our street, the street where our house was waiting for its owners. And here it was. Our silence was broken.
We're nearly there, Stephen.
The next block, and to the right.
Oh, my darling.
Mary, this is foolish, but I wish you to close your eyes now, until I shall tell you, until the house is there before us. I want you to see just alone, apart from all the rest of this destruction.
Of course. Now, go on.
It'll just be a moment. The trees still stand in the parkway as before. Good. And now we turn here and... It can't be.
Stephen.
A ruined wall. A pile of debris. This is what remains.
Darling, it's a mistake. You've forgotten the wrong street.
No. It's no mistake.
But you were sure. You'd written. The field man who had been here. He wrote that he'd seen the Brannick house with his own eyes. It was untouched.
He was wrong, Mary. That is evident.
Look, there on the wall. Something's written.
Yes, come. Let's see.
What does it say?
Haus von Karl Brannick durch einen Volltreffer zerstört. It says, House of Karl Brannick, destroyed in air raid 14th August 1944. Entire family killed. Nearest possible living relative, Stefan Brannick. Last known address, Dachau 4, Germany.
So we're home at last, Steph. Home to the house of your fathers. Home for Thanksgiving.
Mary.
Please, Stephen, let me be alone, just for a little. I'm going to cry, and I don't want to cry before you.
My darling.
Oh, please, Stephen, I'm not blaming you. I just want to be alone.
There are moments for which there are no words. when to love truly is to be silent. And so I watched as Mary quickly turned and moved back to the truck and inside. I saw her bend low over the heavy wheel, her slender shoulders rising and falling in a convulsive rhythm of her deep despair. And in my heart, too, there was bitterness no less than hers. So I turned away to seek a silence of my own, walking swiftly down familiar streets that were familiar no longer. And as I walked, a single thought kept pounding on my brain, a thought that I realized had become a prayer. How could I make up for this to her? Lord in heaven, how could I bring back to my wife her faith in the plans we had made, plans for our life together? And suddenly, there before me, in the things I saw with my own eyes, was a possible answer. If only she could see them too, if she could see and understand. I turned and ran back to the street where once my home had stood. There, still in the truck, sitting very straight, her tears gone, her face a mask, was Mary. And she spoke very quietly as I came to her.
Stephen, I'm sorry. That never happened to me before. It won't again. What have you decided? Where do we go?
Mary, my darling, come with me, please.
Where?
I know what you must feel at this moment. Our hopes, like our home, seem shattered and destroyed. There seems nothing on which to build. But perhaps... No, I won't say it. Instead, you shall see. Come, Mary. Come now with me. Here. This you must see first.
A house being rebuilt.
Not just a house, Mary. Do you see the old man over there who supervises the work? Let us go and speak to him.
You know him?
Oh, very well. We shall see if he still knows me. Herr Pfarrer.
Ja? Ja, was möchten Sie?
Oh, Herr Pfarrer Brunner. Erinnern Sie sich noch an mich?
Ist das... Aber ja, Stefan Branik. Ja. Willkommen, mein Sohn.
Herr Pfarrer, das ist meine Frau. Sie spricht nur wenig Deutsch. Sie ist eine Amerikanerin. Mary, this is Pastor Brunner.
How do you do, Father Brunner?
Welcome, my child. So beautiful. Stefan, you were always the lucky one.
The work here, it's the church you're rebuilding?
Yeah. You see, for a tractor, we use what was once a German tank. For materials, what we can find. For labor, the hands are all who can serve. It goes slow, but it goes sure. Stefan, you have returned to Neuhofen to remain?
I'm not sure yet, Herr Pfarrer.
Oh, may it be so. And you, Frau Branik, may the honor be mine to christen your child within the newly risen walls of this church, if God wills.
Thank you, Herr Pastor.
Well, come, Mary. One other place you must see. Auf Wiedersehen, Herr Pfarrer. Auf
Wiedersehen, Stefan. Wiedersehen. Gott sei mit euch.
And this too I wished you to see, Mary.
Boys playing soccer.
Yes.
But that's not a ball they're playing with.
No, a bunch of rags bound with wire. But this they must do.
But they play wonderfully.
It was always so in Nordhofen.
Stefan, that boy over there, he's not playing. Why not?
I don't know. Well, we'll ask him. Hallo, du, Junge.
Ja, mein Herr. Haben Sie mich gerufen?
Ja, sag, warum spielst du denn nicht?
Das ist ein Meisterschaftsspiel. Ich bin Ersatzspieler.
Oh, I see. He says this is a championship. He's only second team.
Oh, that explains it.
Oh, you are English. I speak English. My name is Otto. You have chocolate?
No, Otto, I'm sorry. I'm American.
I have American shoes. See?
Oh, yes, they're fine.
A little big, Otto, but fine.
A friend of mine here was a corporal. He is home now. Do you know a Corporal Feldstein in America?
Otto, wir brauchen dich. Ersatzspieler.
Oh, I am in. I play.
Good.
Sofort. Excuse me. I go
Sure.
to save the day for Neuhofen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Good luck, Otto. Shall we stay and watch, Stefan?
No, Mary, let us go back. Now we must talk. Once and for all, we must decide. And so in the early dusk of the autumn day, Mary and I walked back toward Brunhilde, arm in arm. And for a time that seemed forever, both of us were silent. And I suddenly felt forlorn and sad with a strange new sadness. Had then Mary not understood what by these things I tried to say? But if she did, there was no word of it. And like a sudden cloud, the futility of all this was upon me. And when I spoke, it was sharply and in bitterness, my decision already made. She was right.
Who was? What do you mean?
The wife of the captain at the border. We should have stayed there. I see that now. We'll go back. There is still time.
Stefan, what are you saying?
I'm saying what is true. I had no right to bring you to a dying town in a sick and ruined country. For my own pride, I subjected you to this, and with this I endow our child. Well, it shall not be. We shall go back.
Stefan, listen to me. Even if we were to go, it couldn't be tonight. It's late. I'm tired.
Tomorrow, then. I'll find somehow a place for us to sleep in. Tomorrow we return the way we came. It shall be so.
Shall it, Stefan?
Please go back to the truck. I'll find shelter and meet you there. Shelter for the night. In other days, it would have been easily found. But in a town where each house still standing already had a family in every room, it was most difficult. But at last, in the home of an old friend who remembered me, it was arranged. For one night only, I assured them. And so for the last time this day, I walked back and turned the corner of the street where Brunhilde had been parked, before the ruins of my childhood home. The truck was gone. Unbelieving, I ran on, from the corner to where it had stood. And then I saw, there amid the debris, close against the shattered wall, back on the property where the house itself had stood, was Brunhilde. As I approached, I saw on the tailboard of the truck, scribbled in bad German script, which I recognized at Mary's, these words: Haus der Familie Brannig. Willkommen. House of the Brannig family. Welcome. And as I stood staring, still unbelieving, the canvas curtain across the back of the truck bed was raised, and there was Mary's face smiling at me in a pretense of impatience.
Stefan, you're late. Don't you know a Thanksgiving dinner shouldn't be kept waiting?
Still only half believing, I entered the house of Familie Brannig. There, with a kind of magic, the truck had been made into a room. To one side, blankets and sleeping bags had become a bed. And just behind the cab, on packing boxes, a table was laid with candles and a bottle of wine, and garnished with cheese and biscuits from a K ration, an open can of Spam. Again I looked in wonder, and Mary said,
Stefan, will you please say grace so we can sit down and carve the turkey? I had trouble enough warming it on the engine. If we don't hurry, it'll be cold. Oh, and since I have my choice, I'll have a drumstick and a piece of breast.
Mary Brannig, what is this?
Oh, I just moved in, that's all. Incidentally, will you please teach me to drive Brunhilde? I had an awful time getting her started and up on the lot.
I will also teach you to write better German. So this is the house of the Brannig family.
Stefan, did you really think I didn't know what you were trying to do? Give me my Thanksgiving. The church with your Pastor Brunner. The football game with the boys playing soccer on the ruined field. But one part of the day you couldn't give. The feast. That's a woman's job, Stefan. The wife's job. My job.
My darling, what can I say? I love you. I love you more than you can know.
We couldn't leave, Stefan. We have so much. Each other, our child, Brunhilde, so many things. And, darling, how will the world ever be made new if people like us are afraid?
And so, dear child to be, this day is past of which I've written this journal for your eyes to someday read. Written that you may know in the years to come of a truth I've learned this day from your own mother. The truth that a day of Thanksgiving belongs to no one people in no one land, but is in the hearts of all people, of all nations, who love and understand and who face each today with courage, and each tomorrow with unbounded faith. Written at Noorhofen, this 27th day of November, 1947. The day your mother and I, in the goodness of God's blessing, came home for Thanksgiving.
Paul Henreid and Joan Leslie have starred in tonight's Family Theater presentation, Home for Thanksgiving. Now, our host for this evening, Charles Boyer.
Dear Lord, on this Thanksgiving Day, accept our humble thanks. We pray for all thy gifts, for sunshine, rain, for fruitful trees and fields of grain, for food and shelter and kind friends, for every blessing heaven sends, for faith to see in all things, Lord, thy gracious gifts and great reward, for hope to rise from earthly care and find fulfillment in our prayer, for love to aid, for light to see, we give our thanks by charity, for work to do, for each success, for all good health and happiness, for home and loved ones gathered here, for love and laughter and good cheer, for mercy, courage, gladness, mirth, for all good things upon this earth, dear Lord, we offer thanks and pray with joyful hearts, Thanksgiving Day. And in a reunion of many families gathered together tonight in homes all over America, there is an added joy and happiness in this realization. A family that prays together, stays together. This is Charles Boyer saying good night and God bless you.
We'd like to thank Joan Leslie and Paul Henreid for their performances this evening. Our thanks to True Boardman for writing tonight's play and to Max Terre for his music. The production was directed by David Young. Next week, the stars will be Barry Fitzgerald and Sandra Barkova in O Romeo, My Romeo. This series of the Family Theater broadcast is made possible by the thousands of you who felt the need for this kind of program, and by a friend of the New York Foundling Hospital, which cares for homeless and motherless babies without distinction of race, creed, or color. Tony Lafrano speaking. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Speeches and Letters of Abraham Lincoln, 1832-1865, edited by Merwin Rowe. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Melvin Lee. Proclamation for a Day of Thanksgiving, October 3, 1863, by Abraham Lincoln. The year that is drawing toward its close has been filled with the blessings of fruitful fields and healthful skies. To these bounties, which were so constantly enjoyed that we are prone to forget the source from which they come, others have been added which are of so extraordinary a nature that they cannot fail to penetrate and soften the heart which is habitually insensible to the ever-watchful providence of Almighty God. In the midst of a civil war of unequaled magnitude and severity, which has sometimes seemed to foreign states to invite and provoke their aggressions, peace has been preserved with all nations, order has been maintained, the laws have been respected and obeyed, and harmony has prevailed everywhere, except in the theater of military conflict, while that theater has been greatly contracted by the advancing armies and navies of the Union. Needful diversions of wealth and strength from the fields of peaceful industry to the national defense have not arrested the plow, the shuttle, or the ship. The axe has enlarged the borders of our settlements, and the mines as well of iron and coal as of the precious metals have yielded even more abundantly than heretofore. Population has steadily increased, notwithstanding the waste that has been made in the camp, the siege, and the battlefield, and the country, rejoicing in the consciousness of augmented strength and vigor, is permitted to expect continuance of years with large increase of freedom. No human counsel hath devised, nor hath any mortal hand worked out these great things. They are the gracious gifts of the Most High God, who, while dealing with us in anger for our sins, hath nevertheless remembered mercy. It has seemed to me fit and proper that they should be solemnly, reverently, and gratefully acknowledged as with one heart and one voice by the whole American people. I do, therefore, invite my fellow citizens in every part of the United States, and also those who are at sea, and those sojourning in foreign lands, to set apart and observe the last Thursday of November next as a day of thanksgiving, and praise to our beneficent Father, who dwelleth in the heavens. And I recommend to them that while offering up the ascriptions justly due to him for such singular deliverances and blessings, they do also, with humble penitence for our national perverseness and disobedience, commend to his tender care all those who have become widows, orphans, mourners, or sufferers in the lamentable civil strife in which we are unavoidably engaged, and fervently implore the interposition of the Almighty hand to heal the wounds of the nation, and to restore it as soon as may be consistent with the divine purposes, to the full enjoyment of peace, harmony, tranquility, and union. End of Proclamation for a Day of Thanksgiving, October 3, 1863, by Abraham Lincoln.
Starring Louis Bromfield in Feast from the Harvest, a Thanksgiving play on the Cavalcade of America, sponsored by DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry. On our program tonight, ladies and gentlemen, DuPont presents Louis Bromfield, both as author and as storyteller. His play, Feast from the Harvest, is a story of the land. In Mr. Bromfield's words, a story of the earth, which is the foundation of everything. Louis Bromfield as author and storyteller of Feast from the Harvest on the Cavalcade of America.
This is the story of a family, and of a valley, and of a piece of land, somewhere in the wide, rich expanse of these United States. The story has no hero, no heroine. It's a story about people. It is about the American people, who in the past have been, and in the future must be, everything this country is and can be. The story happens on Thanksgiving night, where the people of the valley, young, old, and middle-aged, are gathered together in the assembly rooms of the Valley Church to celebrate the richness of the harvest that is to feed us all, ourselves, our allies, and perhaps a little later, the starving women and children of our enemies. It is a tale of the land and of fertility, without which all else, even civilization itself, wavers, sickens, and dies. It is the story of the earth, which is the foundation of everything.
Go and balance all round and all. Make those lads in the color, some yell color. Join him forward and pumpkin pie and cider for everybody over in the church kitchen. Wait a minute. Now, it's Thanksgiving, folks, and before we fall on the food, the Reverend Simpson's got a few words to say. Just a few words of thanksgiving for all the plenty we got here in the valley. Plenty like nobody else on this earth has got. Yeah, come on up here on the platform, Reverend. All right, now. Quiet, everybody. Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for all the plenty, the peace, the beauty we have here in our valley, for the wide fields of corn and the fat cattle, the fruit that comes with the rich harvest season. And, Lord, we ask a blessing upon the boys who are leaving the valley to fight to preserve our liberties, upon Sidney Wells and Johnny Wells and Hilbert Noyes, and upon Henry Drake from Tennessee, who is visiting us and going away tomorrow. Bless them all, O Lord, and bring them back as you brought back their fathers and grandfathers from other wars. We thank Thee, O Lord, and implore Thy blessing. Amen. That was mighty fine, Reverend. Thank you, sir. All right, now, folks, the grand march to supper. Get your partners. Here we go.
That was nice of the preacher to ask a special blessing for you, Henry.
I sure appreciate it. Everybody's mighty nice to strangers up here.
We'd better go and eat.
Oh, I don't want to eat right now. I'm not very hungry. Can you wait?
Sure, I can wait. What's the matter with you tonight, Henry?
Oh, it's such a pretty night. Moonlight and all. Seems a shame to waste it inside. It's a mighty pretty night.
Well, what do you want to do?
How about going outside for a little while? It's not cold. Your coat's right there on the wall. I'll get it.
Oh.
Well, what's the matter, Mary? Aren't you and Henry hungry?
Oh, we're just waiting until the others get serious.
Here's your coat, Mary.
Oh, you're going sparking, eh? Well, ain't no reason why a young soldier shouldn't go sparking with a pretty girl like Mary. There's been a lot of sparking right here in the Valley Churchyard.
Oh, leave us alone, pal.
You know, that's where I got my wife, just outside there. Now, take good care of her, young man.
You bet I will.
She's a mighty pretty girl. Good luck.
Come on, Mary.
Wish Cal would let us alone.
Oh, he didn't mean anything. Just mankind like.
Isn't it beautiful? I don't guess there's any place in the world more beautiful than our valley.
Sure is. Better take my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going?
Just over there under the cedar trees. There's an old bench there.
In the graveyard. Aren't you afraid?
What's there to be afraid of? All my family's in there. My grandfather and my great-grandparents, and way back beyond that. Way back to the time of the Indians.
That's so.
Oh, look at the white mist down along the creek. Like new, clean wool. You know, sometimes on a night like this, I imagine them coming into the valley for the first time. Long ago. The first settlers coming up the valley down there where the mist is.
Don't it scare you?
No, Henry.
Oh, there's an owl. Down in my country, they say you better turn your shoe over tonight or you'll have bad luck.
Oh, silly.
You know, you're a funny girl. But I kind of like it. Even if you aren't afraid of ghosts. Mary.
What, Henry? What? Cat got your tongue?
Hear that train down there?
Yes.
I'm going away to the army tomorrow.
Yes, I know that, Henry.
Sure you're warm enough? Maybe you better snuggle up a bit.
Sure, Henry.
Mary.
Yes, what is it, Henry? What do you want to say?
What was your first kinfolk in the valley called?
First kinfolk? Their names were Jonathan and Mariah Ferguson. They're buried right over there. Those two tombstones that are covered with ivy and kind of crumbling.
Jonathan, Mariah.
Mm-hmm.
Funny names like you don't hear anymore.
They had a little girl called Sapphira. She was my great-great-grandmother. She's lying over there under the weeping willow.
Funny how people go on getting married over and over since the beginning of everything.
Sometimes on nights like this, I think I can hear the sound of wagon wheels and voices calling out way down there in the valley. Sometimes I think people don't die at all. That their spirit just goes on forever.
You think they're still down there in the mist?
Yes, in a way. They're everywhere here in the valley. They help to make the valley. Listen, the foxes are barking up on the ridge. They begin barking about this time of year. The mating season. Listen. The earliest settlers must have heard them, too, when they first came into the valley. I wonder what it was like then, what they were like, those first settlers.
A boy and a girl, looking down into the midst of the valley, where long ago the first wagon train of settlers moved into the richest country on earth. So came the family of Jonathan and Mariah Ferguson out of the east. Listen. You can hear the singing of Solomon, the Negro who rode with them, a freedman coming into the new wilderness. Beneath the wagon swing crates of live ducks and chickens, and behind them follow two cows, a young bull and a pair of goats. In one wagon rides a woman. She is nursing a baby. Another child, a boy of 6, rides at the back of the wagon, peering out. He is watching for birds and deer and chipmunks as the wagons move along the tunnel of green, dappled with the sunlight of the warm, kind months of June. A man and a boy guide the teams of oxen with long poles. One is a hired man called Ezra Pulsifer, and the boy, 15 years old, is called Ezekiel. These are good people, strong people, religious people. What you see is something out of the Old Testament. The story is as old as Moses, as old as time itself. This is the beginning of America. Listen. You can hear the man and boy with the long poles calling out to the faithful beasts which have drawn the wagons for long weeks over the trail.
Hi, Buck. Hi, Barry. Go easy, boys.
Hello there. Up now. Ready?
And the voice of the woman on the seat of the high wagon, singing an old song to the child at her breast. You can see a little girl, dark-haired, gypsy-eyed, running along beside the wagon in her long skirt. She carries a bright feather in her hand and a little bag made of cotton cloth. She has walked beside the wagon all the way from Maryland because this new world is a wonderful place, filled with wonderful things.
Wait, Ezekiel. Stop the wagon and let the fire come up.
Hold up. Hold there. Hold up there. Hold up now. It's fine.
I'll give you a boost up. Here, give me your hand.
Oh, look, Mammy. Look at the feather I found. What is it?
Oh, it's an eagle feather. A feather from the golden eagle. What have you got in your bag?
Oh, lots of things, Mammy. Look, a stone. It shines like a diamond.
It's quartz.
And a sharp stone. I found it at the creek. Look, I cut my finger on it.
Well, that's an arrowhead. The Indians make them.
Will we meet any Indians, Mammy?
Well, I hope not.
When can Pappy and I catch some more fish?
You'll have to ask your father. Perhaps that's the next season.
Are Indians terrible, Mammy? Do they scalp and burn up people?
Oh, you mustn't think about such things, Sapphira. Hush now. Let the baby sleep.
And up ahead on a mare called Belle rides the father. His name is Jonathan Ferguson, and he looks Scotch like his name, with black curly hair and blue eyes. He is a big man, a strong man, a tough man who has fought Indians and the border people. He rides easily, a musket slung across the saddle, a knife and a tomahawk at his belt. He is no green traveler. He knows these hills and forests and marshes and streams. It is a rich country of green valleys and of hills, piled up by the great glaciers 200,000 years ago. Now look, The trail crosses the crest of a hill, and down below, in the misty light of the early morning, spreads a winding, clear stream, flashing with fish, and bordered by green marshes where the wild ducks fly up at the distant sound of the chalking wagon wheels. At the crest of the hill, Jonathan Ferguson pulls up the mare and raises his hand as a signal for the caravan to halt. He is thinking. Perhaps if you listen hard enough, you can hear his thoughts.
What a country. What a beautiful country. You can see by the trees how rich it is. Makes a man believe in God. Mariah, look, there it is.
What, Jonathan?
Our place, where we're going to settle. There in the notch between the hills by the river.
Oh, Jonathan.
Our spring just beyond it. It's our new world. All ours, Mariah, for the taking. Come on, boys. We'll make it the evening.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Ben. Come on, John. Go. Come on, go. Hit. Hit, bud.
The little girl ran beside the wagon with my great-great-grandmother Sapphira. The Indians murdered one of her brothers. He's buried over there near his father and mother. And the oldest one, Ezekiel, who was driving the oxen, he died at New Orleans fighting with Andrew Jackson. The little girl Sapphira built the old part of our house about where my room is.
It's nice to know so far back about your kinfolk.
Oh, it's easy here in the valley. Sometimes I feel like they're all around us, like they weren't dead at all. And over there is my great-grandfather John. He was Sapphira's son. He died fighting at Antietam.
I had a great-grandpappy in that battle. He was on the other side.
Oh. And there they off is Uncle Benjamin. He was a senator. His brother William's near him. He was a colonel in the war against the Spanish. They had another brother called Edward. He got to be president of a big bank down New York. I don't know much about him. He left Dad some money to buy another farm. He isn't buried here, though. He's in New York someplace.
Mary is right. They are all there, about her, unseen in the moonlight in the misty valley. Jonathan and Mariah, Sapphira and Sapphira's son John, who died at Antietam, and Benjamin the senator, and Edward the banker. They are all there because they are a part of the valley itself, like the trees and the fields and the houses. They are a part of America. They are not dead so long as America lives. They can never die. They are all there watching Mary and Henry on the moss-covered old bench in the churchyard. If you listen carefully, you can hear them. You can hear Jonathan speaking, and Sapphira, and Benjamin, and all the others, there in the moonlight and the mist. Listen. Jonathan is speaking. Jonathan the hunter, the first one to come into the valley.
Is that you, Sapphira?
Yes, Pappy.
Look, Mariah. That's little Mary over there on the bench with her young man. You know, Mariah, little Mary, Elmer Payne's little girl.
He's a mighty nice-looking young man, Jonathan, but awful tongue-tied, like you were that evening back in the orchard in Frederickstown. Remember, Jonathan, the evening Thomas Jefferson came to Frederickstown to make a speech?
Sure, I remember.
Oh, here comes my boy, John. Hello, John.
Hello, Ma. Say, our Mary's turned out to be a mighty pretty young girl. Funny. I proposed to Hester on that same bench before I went off to Antietam.
Oh, here comes Benjamin, the senator. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, all. How do you do? My brother Ed, the banker, is coming, too. All the way from New York. Here he is now. Hello, Ed. Good evening, kinfolk.
You've come a long way.
I heard something important was happening. I heard the family was about to grow.
Yes, they're over there on the bench. See, he can't quite get to the point. She's too shy to help him. She's been telling him all about us. Maybe he needs a push.
You were never shy, Sapphira. Not where young men were concerned. Get behind me.
Give him courage.
Don't you worry, Sapphira. He'll get to the point. He'll ask her. I see it all spread out ahead just as if it was the past. They'll get married, maybe tomorrow, before he goes away. And he'll come back from the war all right, and they'll have 4 children. He's going to be a great engineer, do great things for his country. And he'll take Mary away from the valley. And in the end, they'll both come back to the valley to sleep with us.
You always knew everything, Mariah. You always did. I'm always glad when somebody in the family gets married, or is born, or dies. It brings us all together again. Where are you going, Sapphira?
Oh, don't call out like that. You might frighten them. I'm just going to give Mary's young man the push he needs.
Don't meddle, Sapphira.
No, Jonathan. Let her go.
Funny where that wind has come from suddenly, on a still night like this. Out of nowhere.
It's just blowing here all about us. Look over there. The trees aren't moving.
Better lean a little closer. I'm afraid of you getting cold. There. That's better. Now, if you put your head on my shoulder, you'll be good and comfortable.
That is nice, Henry.
Mary, I love you. I love you, Mary. Aren't you going to say anything?
I can't, Henry. But I love you, too.
Will you marry me?
Yes, Henry.
Funny how it's hard to say things like that. I just felt as if somebody had given me a push from behind.
It's been a lovely Thanksgiving Day. I guess we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, we're lucky, all right. There's only one thing that make me luckier.
What, Henry?
If you'd marry me tomorrow, before I go away.
It's awful quick. I'd have to think.
But it don't matter, Mary, if we love each other, how quick it is.
All right, Henry. Tomorrow, then. Funny. It was just as if somebody pushed me then. Oh, they're through supper. Maybe we'd better go in.
Oh, no. Not yet, Mary. It's so nice here. Just the way we are.
Mary.
Oh.
Mary Payne. Mary.
Yes, Charles?
You better get in here. They're giving away the prizes. Praise the Lord, we're on a mighty mission. Oh, the Lord, we're on a mission. Praise the Lord, that's the ammunition, and we'll all get free. Now the prizes. Given by the Centerville News for those in Pleasant Valley who have done most toward raising food for the war effort. To Henry Harris, 1 war bond for the biggest yield per acre of soybeans. To Herman Nussbaum, 1 war bond for the best acre of truck garden. Here you are, Herman. To Maria Polzinski, 1 war bond for the finest exhibit of home canned goods. Good for you, Maria. To Homer Beery, 1 war bond for the best yield on 1 acre of corn. 102 bushels. Great production, Homer. And finally, to Mary Payne, 1 war bond for raising with her own hands the finest steer in Pleasant Valley. And I just heard that Mary's got something else to tell her. Well, go ahead, Mary, and tell him. Well, go on, tell him. What's the matter? What are you scared of? You ain't ashamed, are you? Hey, back there. Close that door before we get blown out of here. All right, now tell him, Mary. Go on.
All right. Henry and I are being married tomorrow, and we want you all to come to the wedding.
Good. All right, I'll tell him for you. Mary and Henry are getting married tomorrow. And they want you all to come to the wedding. And now, before going home, we'll all join the choir in singing a good night hymn. All right, Ed, let it go.
This is our America, the rich, abundant America of yesterday and today and tomorrow. The America which will win this war and go on as a great nation, believing forever in the power and the rights of the people. An America made up of Mary Paynes and Henry Drakes and Maria Pauldinsky's and Herman Nussbaum's and all the others. The people loved by Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln. It is a great tradition, the greatest tradition the world has ever known since the beginning of time. Living in it, we can only go forward to victory.
Thank you, Louis Bromfield. As never before, Americans may offer thanksgiving for the harvest this year. Our American farmers have had to call on their wives and youngsters to help in the fields. They have worked with fewer and fewer hired hands. They have worked their land facing shortages in farm machinery, in transportation, just when machines and transportation were needed most. Under hard conditions without precedent, our farmers have had to produce food not only for us, not only for the millions of men in the services, but also for our allies. Somehow, working day and night, they have done the job, done the impossible. The harvest is in, the greatest harvest in our country's history. We may well bow our heads and give thanks this Thanksgiving Day. Farmers are also growing farm crops for industry, which industry is turning into products essential to the war effort. You may not fully appreciate this new increasing outlet for agricultural products. To carry at one time all of the products from farm and forest purchased by the DuPont Company alone in one pre-war year would require a line of 50,000 giant 5-ton trucks rolling bumper to bumper over 236 miles of highway. That is approximately the distance from Washington, D.C. to New York City. Today, there would be far more loads than that. And DuPont represents only one unit of America's industrial chemistry. Wood pulp and cotton linters, the fuzz that stays on cottonseed after the fibers are removed, are the sources of cellulose for the chemist. Cellulose goes into explosives, but it's also the source of cellophane, of rayon, of motion picture and X-ray film, of plastics and many other chemical products. Corn is another product of agriculture that is used by the chemist in making commercial dynamite, a basic product as essential to agriculture, mining, and construction as smokeless powder is to war. Flaxseed and cottonseed reach the chemist as vegetable oils, used in the manufacture of paints, varnishes, enamels, and lacquers, in making soap and many other industrial and household products. Industrial chemistry buys quantities of vegetable oils. Peanut oil is another one, used primarily by food chemists. This year, farmers have more than doubled their acreage planted to peanuts, from 2 million acres to more than 4. And today, every American farmer knows the soybean. America's 1942 soybean crop is estimated at more than 200 million bushels, which means something like 2 billion pounds of soybean oil. Through chemistry, soybeans become paint and varnish, medicines, glycerin, soaps, linoleum, adhesives, paper coatings, glue, plastics, and also food, salad oil, cooking oil, vegetable shortening, and even ice cream. From molasses and grain, DuPont makes industrial alcohol. Also from molasses and grain, DuPont obtains carbon dioxide, essential in the manufacture of dry ice to safeguard foodstuffs. From the same farm products comes the lactic acid used in the tanning of leather and other industrial applications. This partnership between American agriculture and American industry, especially the chemical industry, is working night and day to win the war and win it fast. These farm crops used by industry will, when peace is won again, serve more and more people as better things for better living through chemistry. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, Cavalcade will be privileged to present for the first time ever on the air a dramatization of the life and work of the celebrated Australian nurse, Sister Elizabeth Kenny, whose treatment for infantile paralysis has brought her world recognition. Miss Madeline Carroll will be our star and will portray Sister Kenny. Be sure to be with us next Monday when Cavalcade presents a dramatization of the life and work of Sister Elizabeth Kenny, who will appear on our program speaking from Minneapolis, where she is now engaged in training nurses in her method of treatment. On tonight's broadcast, James McCallion played the boy, Sharita Bauer, the girl. The orchestra and musical score were under the direction of Don Voorhees. This is Clayton Collier sending best wishes from DuPont.
This program has come to you from New York. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Starring William Conrad, the story of the violence that moved west with young America, and the story of a man who moved with it. I'm that man, Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet. It's a chancy job, and it makes a man watchful and a little lonely.
Mr. Dillon, I bet this proves out to be the hottest day of the whole year.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chester.
I stuffed my hat full of gas, but the sun's still frying my brain.
Now, that won't take long now. The Cape Ranch is just over this ridge, isn't it, Hank?
Yeah. So I'm sorry to bring you out in this weather, Marshal. Back home, we never bothered the law with something like this. Always settled it personal.
It works out better this way, Hank.
Well, seeing how Grover Cape feels about me. I mean, I reckon you heard how it was with me and Alma before him and her got married.
Now, you did the right thing coming to me with it, Hank.
I just thought it wouldn't happen again. I'd forget about it, Marshal, but it's the third time now. Doggone it, I can't afford that kind of a loss.
There's no reason why you should.
There's Kate right there over the bar, Mr. Jones. Don't see the boy around nowhere, so. Sure hate to have to do this.
You let me handle it, Hank. Hello, Grover.
How are you, Grover?
What do you think you're doing here, Jurgen?
He's with me. I'm afraid it's not a social call this time, Grover. I got some business with your son.
Eddie?
Yeah. Is he here?
What kind of business can you have with a 12-year-old boy, Marshal?
Didn't you buy Eddie one of those light Winchester rifles a couple of years ago?
What if I did?
Yeah, it seems like he's been using that gun pretty freely. You've been shooting some of Hank's prize turkeys.
Who said so? I seen him do it last time. That's a lie. You watch your tongue.
And you get off my property right
that's
now.
enough, both of you.
Marshal, there ain't a word of truth in it. My boy knows if he was to go do something like that, I'd whale the daylights out of him.
I suppose we talk to him about it.
There's nothing to talk about. Because some turkey farmer starts spreading lies around.
I'm a patient man, Grover, but you stop that talk about lying.
Then get off my property if you don't like it.
Easy now.
Grover? What's the matter?
Afternoon, Miss Kate.
Marshal? Frank?
How are you, Alma?
She's Mrs. Kate's turkey farmer, and don't you forget it. You go on back to the house, Alma. This don't concern you.
What do you mean? What is it, Marshal?
It seems young Eddie's been taking pot shots at Hank's turkey.
There ain't no truth in it, Alma. Now, you stay out of it.
Grover, let's see what the boy has to say, huh?
I ain't going to have the law pushing my young'un around.
The law's not going to. I just want to talk to him. Now, where is he?
He ain't here. I sent him into town.
Grover, he...
Shut up.
I think maybe he came back without you knowing about it.
No, he didn't.
In fact, judging by the way that dog's sniffing around at the cracks, I think maybe he's right there inside the barn listening to us.
No, he ain't. I tell you.
Grover, this is a matter of law, not a personal argument. Now, you quit stalling around and you call him out.
Fire and water are ancient enemies, but nowadays the battle between them affects every one of us, as forest fires endanger water supplies. How do burning trees affect the water supply? Fallen leaves and the roots of trees hold rainwater and melted snow water in the ground, and let it drain gradually downhill into streams and rivers. This same land, burned over, becomes eroded by wind and rain. When there is little rain, this land has no storage of water to feed streams, and city reservoirs go lower and lower. In other words, more than wood is lost when a forest burns. The damage strikes straight at you, at me, at every one of us. That's why it's so important for all of us to be careful of fire in wooded areas. 9 out of 10 forest fires are man-made and are thus preventable. When you're driving, walking, or picnicking in the woods, don't be one of the guilty who set the fires that waste America.
You gonna call your boy out, Grover?
I said he ain't in there.
All right. Eddie, come on out. I know you're in the barn there. I said come on out here.
Don't be too hard on him, Marshal.
He ain't done nothing, and the law's not going to touch him.
You're the one that told him. You told him you seen me there in the barn.
I didn't, Eddie.
You was going to, though. Only Paul stopped you. You're always doing something to get me in trouble.
I just tried to be a good mother to him.
You ain't my mom. You're never going to be.
Eddie.
Me and Paul had it all right here before you come.
Now, wait a minute, Eddie. Seems to me you got yourself into trouble. You were listening in there. Now, what about those turkeys?
I don't know nothing about it.
See what I told you?
Eddie, I seen you do it. I was walking back up the draw, I heard the shot, and then I seen you ride off on that pony of yours. And you had your rifle. If I hadn't have been afoot, I'd have chased you and caught you right then.
I ain't been near your place.
Eddie, why do you think Hank would tell a story like that if it wasn't true?
I don't know nothing about it, Marshal.
Well, I've known Hank now for quite a while, and I never knew him to lie before. Now, why do you suppose he'd start with you?
I told you I don't know.
All right. Well, I guess I'll have to take you into town with us, Eddie.
You aiming to jail this boy just on somebody's face?
I'm not going to jail him, Grover. He can bunk in with Chester tonight, and we'll see what Judge Bent has to say about it in the morning.
You know why Jurgen made up this story, don't you? It's because of Alma here.
Grover, please.
He never could stand it because she picked me instead of him. Now he's trying to hit back at the boy to get him...
All right, Grover, you've said enough. Come on, Eddie, let's get started.
I don't want to go to jail.
Well, if you didn't do it, Eddie, you got nothing to worry about.
He just made it up like Paul said.
No? Well, why would he do that?
I don't know. Unless it's because I seen him come here when Paul was away.
Eddie,
Sure, he's come lots of times. He must know that I've seen him.
That's not true.
It is true. That's why he's trying to get me out of the way, because he knows I've seen him.
It's not true, Grover. I haven't seen Hank since before we got married.
Grover, that's a fact, and I'll swear to it on a Bible.
Eddie, was that true? What you said about him coming here?
Of course it was true, Paul.
All right, then. Jurgen, you better start wearing your gun.
Hello, Ma. Good to see you.
Hello, Kitty. Doc.
Well, hello, Ma. Sit down. Have a beer with us.
Well, thank you.
Sam, bring Matt a glass of beer, will you?
Sure, Miss Kitty. I heard you threw the Keats boy in jail this afternoon.
Oh, you heard wrong, Doc. I got Chester keeping an eye on him, that's all.
Oh, I did hear wrong then.
And I've been talking to Eddie most of the afternoon and evening, and either he's telling the truth or he's the best doggone liar I ever saw.
Hey, youngsters are sometimes.
Doc, I wonder if you'd come over in the morning and try to talk to him, huh?
Me? Well, I don't know anything about kids.
You ought to, Doc. You delivered plenty of them.
Yeah, but not when they're 12 years old.
Well, a doctor ought to know something about human nature.
And so should a lawman. All right, then I'll talk to him, but I won't guarantee anything. Yeah, here's your beer, Mark.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, Chester told me the boy says his stepmother's been seeing Hank Durkin at home while Grover's away.
Yeah, that's what's kicked up all the trouble.
Oh.
What do you think, Kitty? Alma worked here. You knew her.
I don't know, Matt. She and Hank were real close, and then she quit work suddenly and married Grover. Since then, I hadn't heard anything.
I can see Hank lying to protect Alma, and yet Eddie swears that every word of his story is true, that he didn't kill those turkeys, and that he's seen Hank at the ranch. I don't know what to believe.
Wait a minute.
What?
How are you, Kitty?
Hello, Alma.
Doc. Marshall.
Feeling this case?
It's the first time I've been in the long branch since I quit and got married.
Well, it hasn't changed much, Alma.
Lots of other things have been.
Don't you want to sit down?
No, thanks. I don't have much time. Marshall, how's Eddie?
He's still telling the same story, Miss Gates.
He ain't never liked me. Always talks about how much better everything was before his ma died. But I've tried every way I know how to.
Well,
Marshall, I was wondering, could I go over to the jail with you and try talking to him myself? He don't know what he's done, Marshall. I left Grover out there at the place just sitting and drinking and staring at the wall. He won't say a word to me. Won't even look at me. Will you walk down with me?
Sure, all right. Come on, Miss Gates. Let's go talk to him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dillon, but he still won't come out. I could have dragged him, but I didn't figure you'd want that.
No, you did right, Chester. I'll go back and try to talk to him.
You sure he's a stubborn kid when he puts his mind to something?
Aren't you hungry, Eddie?
No.
You want to come up in the office with Chester and me?
Is she still there?
No. Your ma left. Crying.
She ain't my ma.
Oh, she's your stepma, though. Same thing. What? Why wouldn't you talk to her?
I don't ever want to see her again.
know, Eddie, you said a pretty bad thing about her.
It's true.
Well, maybe so, but now, when a fellow says something like that about a woman, I think he ought to give her a chance to explain.
I don't want to see her.
Now, I can understand when a fellow's had a fine maw and he's lost her. It's kind of hard for him to get used to another woman trying to take her place, but he ought to try and not go around carrying a chip on his shoulder.
She hates me. She wants to turn Paul again.
The thing is, though, a story like that hurts more than just one person. Hurts your Paul and Hank Jurgens. And you know something, in the end, it'll hurt you more than anybody else.
I told you I've seen him lots of times.
I can understand, too, telling a lie to get out of trouble. I did that myself a few times when I was a boy. You know why I quit doing that?
Why?
Because I found out that it felt worse to go around knowing that I'd lied than it did to admit the truth and take my punishment.
I didn't lie.
Now, killing a neighbor's turkey's a bad thing, all right, and your pa might strap you for it, maybe give you extra chores to help pay for them, but, well, that's not as bad as knowing every minute of the day that you've hurt 3 people without any cause. And you hurt yourself, too.
I said I wasn't lying.
Yeah. Well, in that case, you got nothing on your mind, so there's nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah.
You're still not hungry, huh?
No.
All right, then you better go to bed and get some sleep.
Marshal?
Yeah? Yeah, what is it, Eddie?
I shot them turkeys. And I didn't see Mr. Jurgen over at our place, not once. I'm sorry. I knew Pa would be awful mad. I'm sorry, Marshal.
That's all right, Eddie. I'm just glad you told the truth.
No?
Yeah, what is it, Chester?
Somebody just seen Grover Case in town. He's drunk and he's looking for Hank.
What?
He says he's going to kill him.